Oh, hi. Hello. How are you? I'm Dylan. I'm sitting next to Nick.
What's going on, everybody?
Pat is behind the glass. Pat. In fine form. Say hi to everybody.
Hey, everybody. How are you?
Okay, so you haven't heard from us for a little bit. Oh, professional podcaster didn't even turn his phone off. Freaking. Okay.
And then you throw it down on a hard
let's
surface.
talk
Start
to
over.
our lovely fans here. We have started another podcast venture that you are going to just love. Hey, Nick, you know that show Below Deck?
Yeah?
You know how we're doing a podcast on it?
I don't know, Pat. Are we?
Fuck yeah, we are, dude. I already got the music picked out. Get ready. If you guys love the Another Bachelor podcast show that we did, you're going to fucking love this show. I've never before had the music already picked out before we start a podcast, but I did this time. That's why I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show. Please check us out on a brand new feed, Another Below Deck podcast. Jump on over to that feed, subscribe, and leave 5 stars. We need help from you, baby birds. We're starting all new property. It's very scary.
I told you guys this once before. We feed you every week, baby birds.
Help us.
Well, Mama needs help flying.
Yeah.
Well, Mama needs help getting out of the nest.
Yeah.
Starting a new family.
No,
Yeah.
Mama needs help swimming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay.
We're like a hybrid bird. But I will say, Pat, I love the music. It's very apropos because as you described in our inaugural episode of Another Bachelor,
Which is
Another
great.
Below Deck podcast, which was an amazing episode. This is the reality TV version of that classic 70s TV show, The Love Boat.
It's exactly.
It
It's
is.
exactly like it.
People on a boat, screwing and banging.
And maybe some of you have never seen the show and you're only following us from our other property. Well, if you're skeptical, I think that what gives Below Deck a leg up on some of these other reality TV shows is that you just don't have the cast. You've got that variable every week of some snooty charter guests coming on to mix things up.
Who are we going to get? They're going to be wacky, kooky people from the top 1%. They're going to be wacky, kooky people from the upper echelons of society. Will they behave themselves? Who knows?
So even if you get bored with the cast members, there's always a little spice.
Pat,
I think that's it.
final thoughts?
I'm excited to get started, guys.
Well-
3 weeks has been too long.
It has been too long. We're really excited to be back. Again, help us mama birds fly and go find a new family in the water.
But I think the fans might be like, but this episode's almost an hour. What are you guys going to talk about?
Oh, Nick, I'm glad you asked that. You know, we've done a lot of recording on this here show, The Bachelor in Paradise, all 3 of those. And we have amassed, accrued a best of episode with tons of LOL moments. And if you are confused about that acronym, it's laugh out loud moments.
And Dylan is a little confused because what you're about to hear is like us covering only Nick Vile's season of The Bachelor.
Nick Vile's season of The Bachelor. Guys, this is going to be raucous. It's going to be a laugh riot. You're going to enjoy yourself so much. But we really need to say again, go on over to the Another Below Deck podcast feed, subscribe, and hit 5 stars. Love you, baby birds.
Love you.
Enjoy this LOL show. Oh, hi there, hello, welcome to another brand spanking new episode, a best of episode of Another Bachelor podcast. My name's Dylan, I'm saddled up next to one real Nicholas Davis.
What's going on, everybody?
Behind the glass is one producer Patrick, the Irish Bug Hickey. How you doing, Pat?
We're back.
Good answer. Today we are going to pop open the time capsule on our very first season of this show. The first time we covered this here franchise of The Bachelor, just us 3 in this studio, cooking up hot pod, as Nick would say.
Cooking up that hot pod. It's going to be fresh. It's going to be hearty.
Yeah.
You excited, Pat?
Look, for the record, so what we're going to do is we're going to...
Are you excited?
Let me explain
Simple,
myself.
easy answer.
For the record, for everyone listening, I just want some clarity here. So we're going to listen to our stuff from last season, right?
No, that's not right, and you still have not answered the question. Are you excited? Let me handle the logistics.
Yeah, he knows where he's going.
What in God's name?
I asked you if you're excited to be back in the stew,
Why
cooking
do
up
I
that
call
hot pod.
you producer?
Yeah, I'm super excited,
Pat,
Nick.
are you excited?
I'm only going to answer that when you explain the premise of what
Tonight
we're doing
we
here.
He was about to.
I hate when we fight. We're going to cover Nick Viall's season of The Bachelor. And what Nick has done is he has compiled a clip show for us, the best of that season. All the highlights, all the funnies, all the sillies too.
We went through such a fun journey when we started this podcast on Nick Viall's season of The Bachelor.
Yucky Nick Viall.
I wanted to pull out some highlights, take a trip down memory lane, and see how we've grown as a podcast team.
Not by much.
I have reservations. So when you ask me if I'm excited, I don't know.
Okay.
Because this technically isn't a new episode because we're playing. The bulk of it is us playing clips from previous shows, right?
I think the listeners will have a good time with this one.
Well, I'm weary, and I would like
we'll
to.
get to that. We'll get to that.
I
You
want
are
to say
not.
this. All right, listeners, I'm saying this to you. If this is lame, it's not my fault. I want to get out in front of it, and I want to say
I'm going to throw my computer across the room because
these unneeded caveats are unneeded. So we've got a lot to get to. We've got guests. We've got funnies and sillies as aforementioned. Nick, take it away. Patrick, speak no more.
I don't know. I'm salty with Patrick now. I don't know even if I want to start.
Please move on.
I asked him about his reservation. No, I'm excited. Let's do it. Let's not do my thing. I've got fucking news.
He looks like a fucking outsider in the booth with his white shirt.
Anyways, okay.
it's like a greatest hits record. Like the band puts out, it's all the same fucking songs you've already fucking heard, and then the band has the gall to put 2 quote unquote bonus tracks on the fucking record.
Okay.
They wouldn't even made the full length record if they just put out a regular record. That's
Pat,
what this is.
Patrick has never been the one to give analogies on this podcast. That's more Dylan and I's territory. That analogy sucked. This is more like a full-length director's commentary on our greatest hits, not special tracks.
We have explained this far too much. It is such a simple and easy premise. It's a show filled with the best moments of past shows. Let's move on.
Just to clarify one more time, they're audio highlights. A little snow. Okay, here we go. We all loved Nick Viall's body, some of us more than others.
Nick is stunning. He's chiseled. He's transformed. He's fitter. He's tanner. He has less body hair.
He's got a nice torso.
An unbelievable torso.
Yeah.
I mean, he's unbelievably handsome.
I'm getting thrown off again. Yes, I don't like him. I fall.
I mean, I do think he's hot. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Like, he is definitely hot.
No,
but
he's absolutely.
It's happening
His
to
pecs
us
are
all.
like sirens. They just distract me from all his other shit.
Even when he's wearing that dumb puka shell microphone necklace, I'm like, yeah, no, he's pulling it off.
No,
those
He's
are
pulling it off.
synonymous.
I'm a straight male, but I have to say he has gotten a whole lot better looking.
His aesthetic has skyrocketed. He's so handsome now.
Yeah,
I agree.
The beard helps out. I think he's probably put on 15 pounds of muscle mass.
Yeah, muscle.
And he's a little bit more manular.
So did you guys think that I might have been, I don't know, too forthright with my opinion of his physique? Hey, what do you have next for us?
I mean, so we had our bachelor, Nick Viall, and not everybody was sold on his sincerity, if you will.
Is this when, are you about to play a compilation of us misusing or incorrectly using a word for, just many, many moons throughout the entire season of the podcast?
I may or may not be.
This is a new era of contestant. He's calculated. I believe Nick is on this show not to find love,
weary of him.
but to perpetuate his career, his entertainment.
This is like the weariest I've ever seen Patrick.
is
Yeah, like a mafia. If you're like a rat, like, did you see what Nick did there? Did you see what Nick did?
So weird.
Hold on,
Patrick and I are extremely weary of Nick.
Nick. What you're feeling there is his attempt again at trying to be a human being and be self-deprecating, which it doesn't work. Okay, it comes off even more fake. Like, what he should come out and say, like,
Patrick hates Nick.
I think this guy is so calculated that he is looking beyond, a little run on Dancing with the Stars. I think that
The weariness is radiating.
I smell the shallowness.
Unbelievable.
You heard it here first.
How weary Patrick is. Pat, I'm getting closer and closer to your hate-filled weariness of Nick every episode.
Again, I'm getting closer and closer to your hate-filled weariness of The Bachelor. Pat, are you weary? Do you think she's just in it for the fame?
Heard
He's
it
a
here
weary
first.
wart.
So that clip was, we all dipped our toe in the water, but I kind of dove in. I mean, I said weary. What I meant to say leery and or wary countless times, as that clip shows. We combined them. It was a Frankenstein.
Do you think our audience thought we were extremely tired all season?
Because weary means you're tired.
Right.
And leery
Right.
means you're questioning someone's motivation.
Suspicious,
As does
yeah.
wary. As does wary.
Yeah. So as I said, a Frankenstein. I am ashamed to admit it right now because I don't know if this is the case, but I'd like to think that some of our fans thought that our humor was so cutting edge that we decided to make this a bit. And I'm here to tell you, nope. Just stupidity. Hey, Nick, what's your next clip?
Especially how we stress the word every time, like we do.
So embarrassing.
We didn't for months.
Hey, Nick, what's your next clip?
So there was something new about this cast that Nick Viall was given as the Bachelor.
Yeah.
30 women, but this time...
Way to crack that can, Pat. Very loud.
I actually like that. I don't like the burping, but the ambience of a nice can cracking is fun for the listeners.
Yeah,
It knows
so
we're
anyways,
just hanging. But anyways...
The notes here says Patrick addresses race, and I'm very, very excited and terrified to give that a listen.
Well, like I said, the cast looked a little different this year compared to the
Years past?
monolithic
Yeah.
Play the clip.
years past.
One thing that I think we should address is the big, huge Bachelor elephant in the room, which is that contestant-wise, casting-wise, this is the first season in which we have more than two token contestants, two black.
It is very, very dark.
Yes.
This
I believe the exact number was 7.5.
No, what's the half?
We've got a. Well, I don't want to say the term. It's not. It's not okay to say anymore
black?
today. Nope, not half black.
Mulatto.
He did it.
Hey, I get you. My wife's black.
You do.
Yeah.
All right. That's right. Because if you do plant your seed in her soil, you'll have one of those mulatto babies.
I'm counting on it.
And how beautiful they are. Yeah, there's a lot of black girls, which is really encouraging. It shows that Hollywood's paying attention. It shows that it's trying to be more representative of what this country actually looks like.
All right. Now,
Yeah.
I believe Nick Viall, because I think when you're the main person, you get to kind of say, this is what I'd like to see.
Yeah.
And they did say on the show that he did say, I want more professionals.
Okay.
I think he also threw in there, I want more ethnicity.
He met hookers.
Pat, do you have any last words to say about these girls? Do you have any dark horses? Do you?
Well, in some
There's
of the clips,
7.5 dark horses.
That is so fucking funny. Yeah.
You don't love it?
No, I mean, I'm sensitive to it because the world is so sensitive.
Not me.
Certain things, Patrick, that's
Clear.
known. What we need to get to is one of the most important moments early on in the season, the first thing that actually happens aside from or before the hour of fluff that is the premiere of this season, the girls coming out of the limo. I think that you've compiled a, compilation of our initial thoughts of some of the ladies, and I am sorry for what you're about to hear.
These are more very girl next door, pretty. A lot of them.
Did you think any of them kind of screamed retard for you?
A little bit. The one that gave him a raw hot dog in the first meeting.
Just such a bad move.
Josephine.
Can we Lady and the Tramp this? Why was she not eliminated? Why was Josephine not eliminated?
Cat of the Downs.
The longest face.
A dusting of downs.
Oh my goodness.
Can I say what her occupation is?
Diagnoses, yeah.
Unemployed nurse. That's what they put on the screen.
Okay. See, I would go so far as to say the profession is kind of irrelevant after the word unemployed.
I agree.
Unemployed pilot. Unemployed taxi cab driver. They're both in the same boat.
Yeah, I'm an unemployed NBA owner.
All right,
that's my dream job.
Okay, all right. With that,
to own an NBA team.
Which one was it? One of the girls' job titles was aspiring dolphin trainer.
Yes. Well,
aspiring, I would say, in the same camp as unemployed,
right?
Which makes the profession irrelevant.
But
aspiring NBA owner.
I would say that aspiration is a good quality to have, and as it pertains to dolphin training, especially because it's just such a competitive field.
Yikes.
I felt like that was really fun trip down memory lane.
What did I say? Does any of them scream retard? I'm so sorry.
I didn't think it was that bad.
You've got right on here on the rundown a thing that says Josephine shocks the world. So what the fuck's that?
Well, I mean, clearly you said day one, why wasn't she eliminated?
Yeah.
And she made it a lot farther. So even though we're going to take a look at a couple of our early thoughts on the girls, here's when Josephine continued to survive.
Let's talk about the rose ceremony. Within the rose ceremony is one of the most shocking moments of the episode, arguably the most shocking moment of the episode.
Josephine.
Unbelievable! I was throwing things at the television set.
Why won't you die?
She will not go away. Much like Nick's survival in this this landscape, she is also Roach-like in a nuclear fallout. She is in the bunker, eating beans, not wiping her ass, and just waiting for the fucking winter to blow over.
Josephine defies the odds once again.
Yeah. She's like, if you went to the pony races and there was one that only had 3 legs, and you're like, that one probably won't win. But it comes in like 4th and flies a little bit during the race.
You only make a life-changing payday if you bet on a long shot. So maybe I'm going to put a couple shekels on old Josephine.
Yeah.
Hey, Josephine, if you're listening, we'd love to have you
in. She was horrific, just like everything about her. And, you know.
Okay, I felt like I was a little rusty. Patrick isn't coming in mid-season form. Hits the sound cue on point. That was perfect.
I think he just snatched that producer title right back.
Josephine's gross. By the way, didn't make the cut of Bachelor in Paradise. Like, imagine producers having a short list of who people would be on the island. They're like, nope.
Yeah.
No.
Thank God. Because, I mean, it just got really sad towards the end of Bachelor in Paradise. But in a couple weeks, we will cover everything.
They used her as like a lame sidekick.
It was bad, and she lasted a long time. Somebody who has been ever present in the nation that is Bachelor Nation is one Corinne Havenolive, Olympias. We have said horrific things about this young girl because she is a horrific individual. She is stupid, spoiled, lazy, and easily manipulated. And she did some stuff recently that is deplorable. But let's see what we thought about it the first time she all stepped out that limo. What am I doing with that voice?
Well, a lot of the girls were accusing Corinne of over-sexualizing herself, which for a woman...
Where did they get
Well, I mean,
come up with a cockamamie?
right, they're jumping to conclusions with little to no concrete evidence whatsoever.
Well, she loves to brag on camera, too. So that's a major villain, trait, is to brag to the viewership your accomplishments of the day.
If you're already doing well, that can really propel you.
Yeah,
Kanye style.
She is a combo of being rich and pretty enough, which creates this delusional confidence, which is something that's hard to deal with for the rest of the girls. But
it can power you to presidency.
Right, exactly.
Gentlemen, wait, true, but for women,
Very true.
maybe not.
We kind of sniffed out a pattern with Corinne pretty early on. She was napping a lot. She was tired. She looked like shit in the morning.
She was readily getting naked.
And that's because Corinne had a drinking problem.
But going into the night date, yeah, Corinne does have to cope with the stress of the environment by once again drinking heavily. You can see it in the first interview with the production.
She's trash.
She's
so fucking trash.
Shit-faced.
How has this crazy bipolar drunk taken the world by storm?
She just does the most wonderful things when she's shit-faced. When she is just housing cubes of white cheddar, or who knows, could be a Havarti.
Corinne with her dead, drunken eyes once again.
Listen, Corinne still very much has a drinking problem.
Very much so.
And Corinne is just starting to realize that some of the girls may have a problem with her. And I think it's taken her a while. I think the reason why she hasn't quite picked up on it yet is because she's got a drinking problem. She seemed to have a fine night with Nick. She got her breast licked and everything seemed dandy, but
she was hammered. We keep glossing over this. She is once again
so much.
She loves getting fucked up.
She drinks so much. We gotta say, Corinne's got a serious drinking problem.
I've said it every episode, and you guys refuse to acknowledge when I say it. Just like the bastards at the corporate ABC offices, they just continue to. She'll be. They'll have tea and coffee in their hands, but she will have champagne at 9 in the morning.
If I was her right now, I'd be at ICM agency and negotiating that Paradise contract because there's.
Oh, she'll be there.
Oh, yeah,
she'll be there 100%, and she'll be the star of that island.
But does she make it out? Dun dun dun.
Strange that drinking was then coupled with pharmaceutical abuse and led to the almost, 100% pure defamation of character that DeMario almost went through.
But he's super cool with it.
Somebody who kind of took us by storm. I thought she was a little dull, not my favorite, but I hope this clip doesn't.
What are you worried about? What do you think you said about Danielle
I
L?
just hope that I didn't betray my true feelings about her early on. I hope I wasn't sucked in by her beauty because she is ordinary in every single way.
Maybe you would have had you not done classic Dylan stylings and did a little digging.
The next girl is Danielle L, who is, let's be honest, she's a smoke show. She's absolutely gorgeous. And listen, if we're going to draft and she's there, I'm going to take her, but I am a little worried about her chances on this show. I did a little bit of digging, and it turns out that she's been on a reality TV show before.
Who?
Danielle L. Who I wrote Asian?
Ethnicity unknown.
Ethnicity unknown until I found
she looked like Jessica Alba.
She does kind of look like Jessica Alba. I found this show that she did on YouTube called Role Models, about import models, and I don't know what an import model is, but they seem to all be Asian.
This is not the Sean William Scott buddy vehicle?
No, it is not. I miss that sassy little kid. I haven't seen him in such a long time.
He did have quite a little zap to him. He could just really sting you.
He really did. Can you please full screen this and play just the intro for Nick and everybody listening, because this is absolutely hilarious.
This is Orange County how most people know it.
Yeah.
Sunny beaches, strip malls, family outings
That's
at the
how we
park,
know it.
and minivans.
Is she narrating?
No. She's not. Okay.
But this
Yeah.
is the OC as me and my friends know it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Glamorous
Nightclubs,
photo shoots,
shoots,
wild club nights,
wild
and an underground
club
party
nights.
scene with the coolest cars.
Vaping.
We are go-go dancers, we are import models, and we run this town.
Wow, I had no idea that was the case in the Orange County.
I want to say something.
Yes.
If you make the statement,
We
run this town,
Yeah.
I will light you on fire at the stake. You're a horrible person. We run this town.
Whoa.
Who the fuck are you?
Just
amazing line there.
I think it should be said she absolutely narrated that trailer.
She did. She's got
That was before I knew of her dumb
we call it
vocal
fried voice.
This is one of the greatest contestants that has graced this franchise in a while. That is one Shark Girl, Alexis.
I love you, Alexis Waters.
Is there anyone that you've loved more than Alexis on the show now that you've seen 2 seasons?
No, she's my favorite character. And it's not even like there's other people.
She is a real character.
There's other people I would betroth before her, but
Right.
she's just like she's my fave.
Yeah.
And that's why.
That was so earnest. Like, she is my fave. Next up on the rundown, it says Olivia. Who is Olivia? You had strong feelings about the Alaskan fur.
Olivia, she was she was one of my favorite, as I like to call her, the Inuit to win it.
Yeah.
The first Eskimo on The Bachelor.
And by the way, we're talking about un-PC terms.
Yeah, very stereotypical.
I didn't know you could say Eskimo. She's throwing it around about her own people, wearing fur coats, giving Eskimo kisses.
Giving Eskimo kisses, wearing
throwing
fur.
around 50 different words for snow.
Yeah, pretending like she was, like, way too warm because where she comes from, it's super cold. You know, like... Yeah, listen, I'm glad she's gone.
She wouldn't. If that was really the case, she wouldn't have that fur coat on for a second.
Right.
She wore that. I bet that was multiple hours in that wearing that, waiting to give it to Nick.
And also, it's super messed up to like what her people do. Like, they go out and they just like beat seals in the face.
Oh, come on now.
It's just like super messed up of the Inuit people to do.
They're using the entire animal. This is iceberg to table meat.
Yes.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Eat your heart out, Michael Chiarello.
I still don't know who Michael Chiarello is.
I still don't know who Olivia is. But hey, we need to take a short break for our amazing sponsor that Pat wrangled up this week for this here Best Of episode.
Killed it. Coming out of the gates hot. They know it's going to be a big season for us.
Today's episode is brought to you by True TV's Pickin' Fights with Frickin' People. From the minds that brought you Impractical Jokers and executive producer Don Lemon comes True TV's newest show, Pickin' Fights with Frickin' People. Every week, join comedic improvisers Sal, Vito, Q, and Murr as they travel to cities safe and unsafe, like San Diego, Baltimore, Corpus Christi, and the heroin-ravaged regions of New Jersey. Throughout the series, they'll employ a wide range of tactics that evoke aggression and often violent behavior in unassuming strangers, like tripping, slapping butts, asking people if they're Jewish because, quote, I'm not the biggest fan of them, stealing children, kicking pets, asking people how wide their mother is, and throwing out provocative and culturally insensitive suggestions like, great day, only thing that would make it better, big old statue of Bobby Lee, or, I'll tell you what'll fix this country, give the cops bigger clips. Join us every week with special guests like Danica McKellar, author of Math Doesn't Suck, Kiss My Math, and Geometry Takes Shape. Also joining the gang this season is Will Smith and Danielle Fishel, who was in Boy Meets World. So tune in every Tuesday at 4 a.m. on True TV, and don't miss the season premiere next week sometime. Hey, we need to move on and talk about some of the very, very great guests that we had on the first season of this podcast. Pat just fucking lined them up, baby. Walk right on into this studio and hilarities will ensue.
Yeah, but you hate guests still.
I don't like guests. I don't like a lot of the people that we're about to talk about. One in particular that listeners of this podcast know all too well. But, you know, you can't take it away from him. He is famous. He does get recognized by the elderly at Squat Racks all across Los Angeles. Anyways, JJ Lane went on to tell us about the intellect that he uses to play this game we call The Bachelor. The first night you were there, doing a little bit of research, there's a breakdown of how the season went and who gets kicked off when. Ryan M. has his own color on the legend. He was, quote, eliminated by the production.
Oh, yeah. Good old Ryan McDill.
How was that? I mean,
did they murder him? Is that what that means?
What did he drink that night?
Yeah, you know, it's funny because it's not really shown. But I remember when we first walked in, he was kind of a bully, frankly, and he was just badgering guys, and so he started kind of, I don't know, sniffing around me a little bit, and I just kind of pushed back a little bit with him.
I sniffed right back.
I just started chirping him.
You had a sniff on the first night?
Oh man, he was a psychopath in that respect, right? And I realized he's kind of started drinking a little hard, and I was like, you know what, this will be funny. And so I just carried a bottle of Fireball around in my back pocket, and I would be like, dude, hey, have another shot. And then I would go to take one, but I would just cover it with my thumb or my mouth, and I wouldn't take a shot. And I just got him so hammered that night. And so then I think that was first or the second night. I mean, he ended up, taking off his clothes, jumping in the pool, calling Chris Harrison Chris Hansen, which is amazing.
Yeah. Fairly certain I've
literally done that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've done that.
He was unbelievably proud with his mental warfare tactics.
Also, if we remember this interview, gentlemen, I watch a lot of shitty reality TV. He had told us that he had just been on the recent season of Couples Therapy with a fake girlfriend that they had just filmed, and that show never came out. So was he lying to us, or do they make reality TV series that never actually air?
I think his girlfriend at the time just took him to couples therapy, and she's like, "Don't worry, you're on a TV show." And she was trying to fix it.
He's like, "We're not dating, but I'm in." We need to move into another clip of, when I said I don't like a lot of people, I love this young lady. She is funny as fuck, way funnier than we are. She is a wonderful guest, and we look forward to having her in the studio every single season. It is one Annabelle DeSisto. I don't know. I think he looked a little foolish in that turtleneck. I couldn't really take that kind of energy seriously.
You want to talk about him? How about her wearing the penis hat?
What?
It was a winter hat that looked like a penis.
It was rough, and it was so obvious because it against the stark white background of just I was like, oh no, this is just getting worse and worse. This is more mortifying. But that turtleneck, that Zoolander turtleneck.
He looked so dumb. He looked so stupid.
As if I wasn't unattracted to him enough. Seeing him in that turtleneck made my vagina go dry. It's like a desert. I was just nope, never.
Like the Gobi.
Mojave. Hey,
that's another desert. He does not.
San Fernando.
He does not.
No?
What? I'd say just about the damnedest handsomeness person that ever walked in this studio was a man named Christian Bishop. Holy shit.
He's a good-looking guy. I think he was drinking a little too much before we started the show, though.
You think so?
Yeah, he slurred his words.
Well, we did also feed him Mangria in the green room. So
Mangria is a diabolical concoction.
He was actually on top of her thrusting.
Christian's FaceTiming Taylor. Don't mean to step on your
Holy
clip.
smokes!
What's going on? I want to know how much he edified what he was about to do.
This is incredible.
Taylor, live on the podcast.
What's up?
Hi, Taylor.
Can we put her on speaker, Christian? Christian, get her close to the mic.
Wait, I don't think she can. I don't think we want to say. We're just saying hi.
Yeah, you can give us no information about anything. But no, seriously, say what up.
What up? I look forward to maybe talking with you guys once the show's done.
After the wedding?
Bye, sweetie.
Oh, she looked confident. Can I just quickly comment that was super weird that there was a picture, a bride and groom picture of Nick and Taylor behind her while we FaceTimed her.
Oh, please.
And it looked like there was like an X drawn in lipstick. It was bizarre. She seems upset about something.
And someone else holding a newspaper up. And someone else holding a newspaper up with a...
jump on this quick. You guys put this together.
Here we go.
We were very, very impressed by the FaceTime. Just bringing up a Bachelor contestant. That was when we were new. We were fresh. We had rosy cheeks, and we were excited to see somebody who was on the current iteration of the show that we were watching. But
now we don't care.
This podcast is about growth, and we did grow because, it was a frickin' rotating door of these people eventually, and Taylor was one of them.
That date was very much my element. So I was kind of sad. I was like, I'm totally going to win this group date and get the rose because I'm so much fun. Like, this is where I shine. And
then here comes frickin' D'Lo.
I know. D'Lo killing it with the fucking dance music. Even like Jasmine is a professional dancer. Yeah. And I was like, if I don't get it, like maybe Jazz will get it because like she's really good at dancing.
That's when I knew Jasmine didn't have a chance. If she can't win the dance competition, that'd be like if they had like a counseling session for a contest and Taylor didn't win. No, Jasmine, you got to take that home or else.
That's a perfect analogy.
It's almost too specific.
Did she show any signs of psychosis early on in the season?
Oh my goodness.
I think we were talking about the asphyxiator. Did she ever try and pull the chokey on you, Taylor?
The chokey?
No, she didn't. She was very friendly to me when I was there in the house. Jasmine's hilarious, though.
How much was Corinne drinking? Because we stumbled into the third or fourth episode, and we kind of realized, like...
No pun intended. Stumbled.
I was third on that.
Mm-hmm.
That pun. Anyways, she looked like she had quite a drinking problem. What kind of volume was she putting in on a daily basis?
Meow, meow, meow.
No, actually, what I loved is when Taylor and Corinne would argue and debate because Corinne was smashed and Taylor was sober. It was like a Jedi fighting a paraplegic. It was awesome.
Let's talk about this.
It's very difficult to try and have a conversation like that.
The moment in question...
Never argue with an idiot from afar. People don't know who's who.
God, that was beautiful. Couple things we need to clear up in that. One, meow was a safe word. Should we venture in any territory that she is not obligated or legally allowed to talk about, meow, meow. Beautiful quote at the end.
Thanks.
Beautiful quote. Hey, you know who else we had in this here studio? We had this old guy who knows a lot about diet and exercise, and he was slinging a bunch of racist stuff around, talking about bodies, talking about HGH.
He may be light on the scale, but he definitely moves the needle because our highest downloaded episode of all time.
Woo! That Vinny Tortorich bump. Get his coffee at purecoffeeclub.com.
NSNG.
More important than her mom is her second mom, Raquel. Examples include pouring her own wine, serving her own food, and raising her firstborn child. Raquel, I don't want to be mean. I'm going to come off as a dick saying this, but she looks shaken because she's shaky. She looks like she has traumatic-induced tremors. I don't know what these fucking Greeks are doing to this poor woman, but
she
looks
look,
shattered.
They live in fear of their job. They have to sit there and pretend that they love these people more than life. In a lot of cases, they do. And they become something else. They literally become something else.
Listen, she is allowed to sit with the family, which is nice.
They all are.
She's allowed to eat the hand-prepared and pickled olives that this father prepares for the family.
But that's what they do. They all do that. I'm just telling you what the life is.
Right.
Does that make sense? Are we going too far into this? Or
No, he had a clip for the olives.
I'm sorry. Can you play the olive clip?
Yeah. And before we progress with the dinner, these are my world-famous marinated Greek olives. This is one of the best batches of all time.
Thank God.
Corinne, have an olive.
Give me an olive.
You need to give it to Raquel.
Welcome to my very Greek family.
He sounds like De Niro got together with Trump.
Right, totally.
I have the best olives there. Play the beginning of that again, please. And think De Niro and Trump all together. I know you hate when people talk over shit, but play the beginning of that again.
And before we progress with the dinner, these are my world-famous marinated Greek olives. This is one of the best batches of all time.
Thank God.
Corinne, have an olive.
Give me an olive.
You need to give it to Raquel.
Welcome to my very Greek family.
To your point, it's very Trump-esque.
Right, it's Trump meets De Niro.
Yeah, it totally
You
is.
want the best olives?
He's so serious. He gets very serious.
We're talking about
things.
Vinny Tortorich.
Yeah, Pat. He's probably your favorite guest to come in here on account of when you were talking, he railroaded in and stole your mic from you, and you were vascular and red when that happened.
I hate that guy. Oh my God, what an idiot! Like I was. Honestly,
Pat, we're having him on next season 100%.
Absolutely not. I don't want that idiot in here. The guy starts barking orders at me. He's like, pull that clip up. It's like, dude, you're a guest on a fucking podcast. Don't start barking orders at me, you fucking old fart. Living in fucking Woodland Hills, you big success story. Bragging about his wife being in like a James Bond film from like the 60s. Like, wow, dude. Your wife was in a James Bond film? You mean the bitch that's like coming out of the water in a bikini that had 2 scenes? Wow. Oh, wow. Really enjoy Serena. Anyway, we're not having him on again. He was by far the most annoying guest. He made us play that olive clip twice, that fucking dummy.
Do you want to?
Like the audience needed to hear the clip twice. They're not as dumb as him. By the way, don't eat grains. Butter, like, wow. 60 years old, you figured this out like a diet. Eat less, walk around a little bit. Guy's a fucking genius. Now he's got coffee.
Vinny's got coffee?
I am excited to have Vinny Tortorich back next season because we need that old man's company, and more importantly, we need that Vinny Tortorich bump. Pat,
at the very least, it's going to be a contentious episode.
You're going to need to grow up and be cordial. When he comes back in here, we're playing that clip. Who was the next guy that came in? I mean, I vaguely remember Sean Evans. I know that we talked to him about shenanigans that take place in our neighbor up north. We talked about bricks being thrown at people. We talked about cell phones being broken. Overall, a very nice individual, brought a lot of heart to this here podcast.
We just got to talk to you about this incident with MTV's Grand Benders brick-tossing Mickey Rappaport, a.k.a. Mickey Coco. What the heck happened, man? You look like you got really hurt, like you were hit in the head with a brick or something.
Well, I mean, when someone throws a brick at your head from the second-story balcony, that's bound to cause a little bit of damage.
Why did he do that to you, and how did you survive?
Yeah, it was about 10 to 12 stitches, I think. And, I mean, that was an incident that happened, I guess it was just not last summer, but the summer prior. I was DJing up there, and I brought some buddies with me. There was a dispute that Mick had with one of the guys that I brought, and he decided that at that point, because I had brought him up, he was no longer my friend either, because he was pissed off that I brought him up to his bar. And after that, Mick ended up chasing that guy with a rusty hedge trimmer and chasing him off the property. So my car got left behind because I had some drinks and we were going back to London for the night.
Yep.
So I went up there a week later to grab my car. I got my brother to drive me up. When I got there, my car was gone.
Okay.
So he had the keys. And so my car had obviously been moved from the parking lot. So I said, Mick, where's my car? You had my car here. He said, I don't know where your fucking car is. I said, okay, Mick, you're really going to make me call the fucking cops right now and report my car stolen right here? He's like, yeah, go ahead. So I called the cops, and that really pissed them off. So when I was on the phone with the cops reporting my car stolen, he said, here are your fucking keys. And I looked up, and there was a brick being thrown on my head.
Oh, my.
Did it knock you out?
Yeah.
No, it didn't actually. It knocked the phone out of my hand, but at that point...
Did it crack the screen?
What's that?
Sean, did it crack the screen?
It's all good, boys. It's all good.
Oh, thank God. Oh, happy ending.
Glad everything's okay. Well, man, Mickey seems like an emotionally unstable and rather rash.
I was going to say rash. That was what I was thinking.
Well, man.
What a crazy story. Could you imagine being accosted by an MTV Show Canada video DJ, a VJ?
And coming away with it unscathed and not having to pay that
absurd
$200 screen crack fee.
I would say that the 10 to 12 stitches probably cost a little bit more, but hey, he's in Canada, so it might not have.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. They stitched him right up in some woodshed for free.
Without a doubt, the best guests that we've had on this podcast are two of the four that make up BuzzFeed's very, very popular quartet. The Try Guys. Keith and Zach were menches.
Good dudes.
Well, that's why all this shit's so crazy, because you don't decide after 2 months whether you want to spend every weekend with someone's family. Like, right? The timeline of all this shit is absurd.
It's insane, which is why in the early stages of the season, it's fun. They're all crazy.
Right.
They're all going on these wacky group dates. It's a lot more enjoyable. And then you get into the latter stages, and you're like, Vanessa is beautiful, powerful, smart. Why is she doing this?
Exactly. It's like when I'm dating someone, I tell them that my entire family is dead for the first 6 months.
Smart.
I don't even let them be an option
Smart.
until
Yeah.
Then, when they're alive, then you have to create this whole resurrection thing. You have magic now, and then another 8 months go by. Then you let them know, okay, I was lying about the magic, but they did come back to life, but it was my friend. He's magic. And then, another 7 months. Then
so
you
the
say,
whole
okay,
thing with
that was
alternate
all a lie.
dimensions and timelines, it's, you got to get in deep with them. It never makes it past 8 months, so I haven't had to face what happens next.
Well, I hope that you get to actually play that strategy out, because it sounds like it would be fun at least.
And it's nearly a rock solid way to start a relationship.
Yeah.
I feel
you
that's
go
a
from
good 8-month
vulnerable,
plan.
like a puppy dog with a family who's all dead.
I'm wounded, and she can help. She can heal me.
Right. To a superhero who needs no help whatsoever.
You can heal me and no baggage.
That's why those guys have 20 million views on their videos.
They're quirky yes-anders. That's what they are, my favorite kind of people. Next on the docket, we've got what Nick wrote, what Nick has called a secret clip.
That's because you just mentioned the Try Guys were your favorite guests of the season, and I don't know, it's hard for me to rank them, but one of my favorites was someone you absolutely hated. I thought he was amazing pod, and that's our good friend, JJ Lane.
Were you at the infamous #Jaden Tanner's wedding?
I gave the best man speech, actually, and unfortunately...
Goodness.
Yeah, it was, they told me 30 minutes before, and they're like, hey... you're going to do the best man speech. I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, you got 30 minutes. And so I told them, I was like, here's our deal. I'm going to do this. I'm going to freaking crush it when I get back on a bottle of Fireball, like the big bottle of Fireball under my chair. And they said, deal. So sure enough, I get up there, and the great part was it was so easy because it was the who's who of Bachelor world was there. I mean, going back to Bob Guiney, right? Like the original Bachelor. And so, yeah, I just turned it into a roast. All I did was just make fun of everyone that was there, and it was good. And only a few people have sense of humors in that group, which is even better when you're totally roasting them. But sadly, never made TV. It was on Hulu, I think.
Did you get a chance to take a shot at Nick Vale?
Oh yeah, because we had Nick, and I think they were doing. Oh, it was JoJo's season was coming up, or it was like starting to do something, and he was sitting there, and I was like, the joke was something along the lines of, Nick's going to be, leaving here, tomorrow, start filming his 6th season or something like that of, The Bachelor. What's so funny is like how now it's like, good grief, like we were all pawns in that whole thing, like here he is, he's laughing at us.
Something about that doesn't add up. One, I don't buy that he had 30 minutes to prepare for the quote-unquote best man speech. 2, how could you not hate this person?
I love how the running theme with him is always a bottle of Fireball.
In reward for me going out on stage and possibly humiliating myself.
There's no possibility of that. He's going to crush it, bro.
With a 30-minute prep time, I would like 1.5 liters of Fireball whiskey. Done. Terrible negotiator.
And I love how he spins it into his 30 minutes to prepare, and all he's going to do is roast people.
Oh, and quick anecdote. So he was following me back on
30 minutes, crushed it.
He was following me back on Twitter until he tweeted out, or he retweeted someone who said, it's always the people without profile pictures, like calling you a piece of shit or whatever. So from the @AnotherBachelorPod Twitter, I tweeted at him, fuck you, parentheses, get it? And he unfollowed that account and my personal account after tweeting that. He did not, parentheses, get it.
Hey, we had some amazing guests on this show, JJ Lane being one of them. But there were a whole other cast of characters that gave us a lot of ammunition, and those were the people from this TV show that we saw on it's not the silver screen, what do you call a TV? Bronze screen? We saw them on the TV. First up is a person that Patrick does a great impression of. It's the only person that Pat does a great impression of because Pat is piss poor at doing impressions of people. But Rachel's brother-in-law is one that is mimicked very perfectly by Pat. This guy is weird, disconcerting looking. He, as I mentioned when we recorded, he looks like the killer from True Detective, and is very, very confident in his place in this family, leaning back with his fat, balding body and loafers with no socks. Pat, what say you?
Swarmy.
You know what? Actually,
Nick, what say you?
I don't know if this is in this clip, but I actually also called him Swarmy at one point.
Yeah.
And that also not the word. It's smarmy. Swarmy, not a word. Smarmy.
Guys, I think we've got a niche.
Saying words wrong. Here's Rachel's brother-in-law, Alex. You know who hit the jackpot in this situation? That swarmy brother-in-law gets to sit at the head of the table.
Oh my
Him sitting there with his penny loafers and no socks. Oh, you bastard.
You know what? He reminded me a lot of the serial killer from True Detective, the first season. You know, that guy that bangs his sister.
How's it going? Not too much.
It's good.
Two young lovebirds coming for the hometown
fucking
visit,
weird.
huh?
Huh? Having a good time?
How'd it feel? Pretty good. So far, so good? You guys make us feel at home. Good.
Why? Because y'all look like this.
Fuck you. Constance.
I can't help but notice. You are a white.
A deeply concerning relationship was the one that Nick Viall had with his sister. There was a lot of, I don't know, like, it looked like she'd had a lobotomy. She was very, very subdued. They were very weird with one another. And our Nick, not Nick Viall, had concerns about her cognitive function as well.
And I'm you know what? I'm gonna retract a lot what I said. Not because I feel any like remorse for using the language because it's a medical term, but because I found out
what's a medical term?
Retardation. There's a
retardation's a medical term. Yeah.
Yeah.
Retard's not a medical term.
For sure. Someone who suffers from retardation.
I'm sure when using medical terminology, they would be a little bit more specific.
Gentlemen, regardless, this generated our first 1-star review.
Oh.
Which hurt my feelings.
So everybody makes mistakes. You can't run from them. You must look them in the eye and say, "You are me, and I won't be you anymore." But there is a clip of him, kicking the footy around with his younger sister, and the language they use between each other is just very, very strange.
Obviously, a lot of siblings, and they always have been people that I've relied on for advice.
Think they'll like me?
Hope so. You're nice. You're handsome.
Oh, thanks, sweetheart.
My youngest sister, Bella, is wise
All right,
beyond
that's
her
good.
years.
I took some notes while I was watching. This is some things you
Star fucker. She's a little star fucker.
Why is he relying upon a 10-year-old, 11-year-old girl for information on or advice, I should say, on how to find a mate, how to find true love?
I think that girl is kind of retarded. Like
she does.
No, I think she might be slow. Is what I'm saying. Not like in a metaphorical sense, like clinically.
Why?
So I think you should both take it easy on this family. In that picnic table scene, they seem perfectly fine to me. That seemed like back home in Wisconsin. You guys are bigots.
All right. You know, normally when a family loves someone,
I ask one question really quickly.
Please.
What evidence do you see that would point towards your diagnoses for retardation?
Something off. That's my medical diagnosis.
Was it when she said, "You're kind, you're sweet"? Thanks, sweetheart.
It was a little bit of that.
God,
all right,
so
you mean
gross.
bastards.
You called her a star fucker. That is way worse than me calling a 10-year-old who might be retarded.
Right, and by star fucker, did you mean that her brother is a star and she wants to fuck him?
I think children are enamored with images on TV.
All right.
So that conversation generated our first 1-star review, and here is that review.
Yeah, let's go down memory lane.
Women beware. I can only get through about half of this first episode, in which the comments were made about a 12-year-old girl looking retarded. Women were rated on a 1 to 10 scale.
Not true.
Patrick did it.
Yeah, I actually, that's true. That's true. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So anyway, see what happens when you...
See, in my, if I know it's all three of us are on the podcast, but when Patrick does something like the kind of stuff that Patrick does, he's older and he was raised in Boston and he's got a barbed wire tattoo, it kind of doesn't feel real to me,
He crushes beer cans into the microphone.
I just move on, But I guess it's a good point. Do not crack that can into the mic.
I like it.
Don't crack that can into the mic. God.
You know what? I'm going to go get one.
Damn it. Hey, you know what we need to move on to next? The gang eventually leaves Nick's family. We'll get back to them, and don't you worry about that. And they go on a little vacation, a little jaunt around to strange islands whose tourism boards are paying pennies on the dollar to get this franchise to their islands. I believe one of the islands was Bimini Bimaru.
Yes, Bimini Bimaru.
Or was it St. Thomas? Which one was it?
I think this one was at St. Thomas, which have you become acquainted with? Because it's one of the staples of the Virgin Islands.
No longer here, got wiped out.
Is that true?
Yeah, everyone's dead.
I was wondering, yeah. Because of those 2 hurricanes that just rolled through. And the Republicans say global warming doesn't exist. I mean, what are we doing? I'm going to pull my hair out.
There was like a 2-week period there where the entire country was under some sort of natural disaster. There were fires going. There were hurricanes. There was drought. It was scary times for a little bit.
Yeah. one of the plagues, I think. Anyways, a wonderful, wonderful lady was there on the island to help the girls settle into life in St. Thomas or Bimini. I think Nick is falling for Christina. All the while, Corinne is falling for somebody too, and it's not Nick.
Oh my God, someone get it.
Hi. My name is Lorna, and I'm here to assist you all in anything
Her
you need.
face lights up when she sees this woman.
She was like Nintendo 64 kid.
Oh my God! It's a new We talked about last week. Corinne is in her Zen mode when she has minorities bringing her food. We need to get back to Nick's family. The mom, the dad, mostly the mom.
She's a drunk.
We unleash on this family.
They flew the fucking family out.
Oh, I missed it.
And that little odd little sister of his.
Oh, Bella. The one with the deepest voice.
It's fun. First episode, I said something off, and you call her odd. It's
very odd. She's got to get her teeth fixed.
She's a 12-year-old girl, Patrick.
We live in a very shallow society.
It would help. But she is from Waukesha. She could be really good at milking cattle.
Well, there's something going on with the genetics in the Vile family because Bella's a little weirdo, and Nick has a sister, or I think she's a sister, who is quite literally 8 feet tall. She is mammoth.
And there's another brother in the mix that he's in the background with a beard that they never really talk to too much.
He looks like I'm sorry. Did you have another point about the brother? He looks
We're so cordial tonight. I love this.
He looks like the cousin like they have in sitcoms that comes from the country version of Nick Vile. He's just a little bigger and a little dumber.
It's hard. That's hard, by the way. So this whole thing, and this was the worst part of this whole season, was they spent a full hour with Nick's family.
The worst. The worst. The Waukesha
I really like
Robin,
that
right?
father.
Father's okay, yeah.
He's off too. His balls are in a fucking drawer somewhere with that wife that looks like Peter Pan. What's her name? Mary?
He's accepted a mistake he made about 38 years ago, okay?
Yeah.
But he's not the type of man who's going to...
You don't get a cut of gentleman like that anymore, Patrick.
Yeah, he's resigned to hating his life for the sanctity of the people around him, and I respect that.
Yeah, that 7 foot tall daughter and that little Bella who's going to be 7 foot tall too.
Do not mistake that docileness. He is filled with rage.
It has been a long evening. We are so thankful that you sat here and listened to all this best ofs. We will see you guys next week with more best of content from us, Nick, Dylan, and Patrick. Nick, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
I'm not doing another one of these episodes. I'm not doing it.
And goodbye.